not familiar with the normal rules. But again, if you've been tuning out as we've been taking a little bit of a break, thanks for stepping back in. I'm Pyrotechnics, joined by Azumo on this broadcast. And of course, picks and bans already underway. Jarvan, first pickup, and of course, they got Lucian and Rengar on the side of Team 8.
Yeah, and a little bit of delay there, but we talked about the first picks a little bit in depth thus far. The Rengar pick, it was being hovered over before Dodo DC'd, and they did clarify it with the other team before we did start, so that's going to be a good pickup. There's actually a lot of junglers that are off the board right now. You see Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, Nocturne all banned out, and the Jarvan was picked up, so it doesn't leave much left. That Rengar, I'm curious if we're going to see a Rengar Orianna combo, or if LoLPro is going to decide to take that away. That's a big combo for initiation. It takes a little bit more coordination to pull it off, but we'll have to see. And Rise, Thresh, locked in for the side of LoLPro. Those are pretty standard picks, I'd say.
Yep. Still a little bit of flexibility there as well. As you know,
Definitely.
as you mentioned, Flares can play Jarvan in the top lane. Yusui can play Rise, but as well, Flares could pick that up. So they do have a lot of options on the table. Thresh just an overall solid pick. What does Team 8 answer with? They have 35 seconds to decide.
Yeah, they can actually hold off on their mid lane pick if they want to here. There's always the option of Rise going in mid as well, as opposed to top lane. Not quite as strong, but it's the option, and I like it here. They're picking up their top lane, they're picking up their support, saving the mid lane for last to try and get the best counter pick possible, because the jungle mid synergy with Rengar is usually the most important as far as that goes. So saving the mid for last is probably the best strategy. And Braum, we didn't see a Braum at all yesterday, neither a pick or a ban. We saw a lot of Janna, a lot of Nami, a lot of Thresh, and that was about it. So I'm excited to get a little bit of a different taste here with the Braum, and I'm curious. He hovered over the Janna, but I guess not really going for the disengaged type style with the Rengar pick, so going with the Braum.
Yep. And it's also worth noting that, of course, Maple Street wasn't allowed to play Lucian all throughout yesterday. It was picked or banned away 100% of the time, and to double that up with the Braum choice, definitely a good combination, one we saw a lot of when Braum was first released. You know, his passive and Lucian's passive work together incredibly well, but over on the side of LoLPro, you can see they're really thinking about what they want their AD carry choice to be. A lot left on the table, as well as the Orianna being hovered.
Corki seems to be the go-to choice nowadays. We saw an Ezreal in the mid lane yesterday. We saw a Caitlyn pick, a Draven pick, but nothing had quite as much success as the Corki and the Lucian. So that seems to be an obvious pick. And Orianna, we saw a surprising amount of Orianna bans yesterday. And Orianna as well in solo queue is drawing some bans at the higher level. So this is a really power-packed team comp from LoLPro, and it looks pretty scary to deal with. It looks like that is going to be confirmed. That's a Jarvan jungle, and Rise in the top lane, Orianna mid. So LoLPro has managed to field themselves quite a scary team comp. And on the other side, I'm really curious as to what Slushie is going to be playing in that mid lane. Yesterday he played a Jace game and a Fizz game, and in both of them I think he went legendary at some point. Started 4-0 in the Fizz and 5-0 on the Jace, so he had an impressive performance yesterday, and I'm curious to see what his last pick is going to be.
Yeah, Orianna is one of those choices that's definitely going to be safe pretty much most of the time, but it will be a Twisted Fate lock-in for Slushie, so there you go.
Yeah, that is... I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. That allows for some global pressure early on. That level 6 combination of Rengar and Twisted Fate can make a gank happen at any point in the map. Kelly Trolls, we saw him play a lot of initiation-heavy top laners yesterday. Aurelia, not really the same in that regard. They're going to rely a little bit more on Porpoise Pops and Slushie to get that going, maybe even Dodo. So going to be a little bit of change of pace for him. As we've seen a lot, he's going to be on more of that carry top lane, and we know he can do it. He's one of the most flexible top laners in, I guess, the LCS now. So we'll see how he matches up against Flares' Rise.
Yep, should be a good show up in the top lane. Lots of fireworks, lots of explosions, as well as a lot of jungle pressure as well. Jarvan and Rengar, you know, once they get that level 6, you're going to see them all over the map. We'll see what they do end up focusing. A lot of jungle pressure was moved towards the mid side a lot yesterday for all the teams involved, but this time around it may be very different. Twisted Fate and Orianna, very difficult champions to gank.
Yep, and I'm really going to look to ThinkCard here in the early game. Rengar, not the strongest early game ganker. His early game ganks are a little bit tougher to pull off. He usually wants to try and hit 6 as quick as possible, maybe go for some counter ganks. We saw Rengar yesterday being played. I think bottom lane was a popular choice for pre-6 ganks just because of the extra bush and the ability to gank through lane. But Thinkard always likes to try and make plays early, and Jarvan is a champion that he can really do that with. So if he can make an impact early before Porpoise pops and they can get a lead, get out ahead pre-6 before those big initiations from Porpoise pops and from Solution can come out, they should be in a pretty good position because their late game packs a punch with Orianna and Ryze.
Absolutely. Did see the power of Orianna yesterday. Some serious shockwave action resulting in big turnarounds and big wins for the teams all involved. And it even drew a couple of bans. So if USweet can line that up, it could be a scary first game for Team 8.
Yeah, and that's something. Who was it yesterday? Was it Easy?
Yeah, it was easy to land that 5-man shockwave.
5-man shockwave that ended the game. Ended the game. They 5 for none aced at 45 minutes into the game and then pushed for the win. That was really impressive to watch, and that just shows you how big of an impact Orianna can have on those late game team fights if you can land those shockwaves. But at the same time, she doesn't have as much as other mid laners. If you miss that shockwave later on, you put so much reliance on getting a good initiation that if you don't land it, not only can it be demoralizing for your team, but it can lose you fights. So we'll have to see how Yusu's gonna fare with that one. And at the same time, Slushie on the other side on that TF has to make an impact when he hits 6. Those first couple ultimates from Rengar and TF are really telling as to how the pace of the game is going to go.
Yep. Well, with that being said, our pregame banter is pretty much all for done, guys. We're going to be taking a very quick break and bring you some pretty awesome special effects and graphics before we kick off game number 1. We'll be loading up onto Summoner's Rift, so don't go anywhere because you are watching the Black Monster Cup Fall Playoffs, and this is semifinal game number 1. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are on Summoner's Rift. Welcome to the Black Monster Cup Fall 2014 playoffs. I am Pyrotechnics. He is Azumo, previously known as Azumo Cutie. And of course, we're getting ready to get off game number 1, LoLPro taking on Team 8, a clash of the titans of the challenger scene.
Yeah, this should be a really interesting start. We saw all sorts of level 1s yesterday, and there was a lot of level 1s that really set the pace for games. Zenith had some really creative level 1s, and Team 8 as well, so we'll have to see what they have in store from us. But if we can get a lineup real quick for LoLPro, it's going to be Flares up top, Thinkard in the jungle, Yusui in the mid, Wiz Fusion, and Keith McBrief down at the bottom, but we might be interrupted by this level 1 invade.
Yep, they're definitely going in full force, all 5 members, and that, of course, is Team 8. Cali Trolls in the top lane, Porpoise Pops, now known as Porpoise Deluxe, leading the jungle, Slushie in the mid, Maple Street and Dodo rounding out the bot lane.
It looks like they're just strong-arming here on the red side jungle. Going to get some vision and back off, trying to spot where Thinkard's going to be. And they're on the opposite side, so this is a pretty standard strat, just mirroring what the other team's doing. Getting vision on their side, where they're getting vision on your side, and they're just going to spot each other out in the mid lane as well. So this should be pretty standard starts for both junglers, I'd say.
Dodo is actually bringing
Uh-oh.
around the side here, and
Maybe
Flares
not.
knows where this invade is happening. This is pretty standard teammate stuff. If at first you don't succeed, go in, and again. They will get themselves in a deep ward and completely play the game of chicken very successfully. Teammate definitely trying to dictate the pace of this early game.
This is
But
a very vision-heavy early game from Teammate here. They're getting vision on all parts of the enemy jungle, trying to see
uh-oh,
where...
Dodo. They have to know they're in this brush, and he's going to check right around the side of it. He actually is able to get away for free, but this blue buff won't be quite so lucky. So with the red buff being started up on the top side, Porpoise should know that he needs to make a beeline over to that blue buff for just a minute. Dodo actually trying to make something happen here. I think Guard's already got the buff.
Flares actually blew his flash by accident there, trying to teleport up to the top lane, it looked like. So that's quite a big mistake. I don't think anybody from Teammate noticed it, though. So he should be alright, but if a gank comes up his way early on, he could be in some trouble from that mistake.
Yep, that would be a little bit of a problem. Of course, as you mentioned, Rengar not necessarily the biggest early game ganker. He will be moving towards the top side blue buff, so we've seen this happen time and time again. Jungle is not split up across the river anymore, folks. It's split up across top and bot side of the map.
And one weakness that Braum has in the early game is that especially his lane partner is very susceptible to harass, especially outside of those defensive cooldowns from Braum. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of teams are opting for those more early game defensive oriented sports like Nami and Janna, because those shields can be pretty big early game and can make you a little bit safer. You can see already that Maple Street is already taking so much damage early on, and this is going to cause them to fall behind in this lane.
Yep, he is already down. Double the CS of Wiz Fusion right now, and they're controlling the pace of this bot lane quite well. Keith McBrief using his champion to zone as far as he possibly can. And here does come Porpoise, though, trying to make a move onto Yusui. Does have the double bus available. Slushy with the gold card may just get it, but he's being zoned away.
Yeah, Orianna, very hard to gank unless you focus a lot of attention on her. She can see us from a distance pretty safely. She also has the shield early game, which can help block a lot of damage from potential ganks. But wow, he's getting caught in this bush.
Oh, ran right into it with the flash forward with the gold card. Yusui might be in a bit of trouble. He has his flash, but there goes Porpoise Pops, and he picks himself up first blood.
A huge victory there for Porpoise Pops and Slushy there in the mid lane. It's not often that a Rengar gets a successful gank in the game before a stronger early game ganker like Jarvan, so that's going to be a big victory. Not only that, is since he had the ward over the wall, he was able to get the leap from the bush after Yusui's flash, so that's only flash for flash on mid laners, and Porpoise Pop still saves his for potential gank later on this game, so that's going to be a really big deal for them.
Yep, should help out quite a bit, and as you mentioned, Rengar getting an early gank, definitely a huge boon to him, picking up that extra gold from the first blood. Should be able to complete his items a little bit quicker, and on the other side of the map, ThinkCard really just relegated to trying to clear out his own jungle for the time being, has had not a whole lot of impact on this early game.
Yeah, which is surprising from ThinkCard. I think their level 1 was not poor, but it sort of put him in a position where he was forced to do a little bit of a suboptimal path to try and gain all his buffs. Oh, here comes ThinkCard on the top lane now.
Top though. Yep, Flares trying to play the bait game. Calitrolls burns his flash, but so does ThinkCard. There's the Rune Prison. This might be the revenge kill, and it will be. Flares picking up the kill.
Even after missing the EQ combo, Calitrolls was just way too far up in the lane, and they're still able to get the successful gank off, despite Flares blowing his flash early. So that's going to give him a little bit relief from that little mistake that he made early game, and by the time he needs it again, that flash should be up. So that's going to be a big deal, because a Rise that gets going is really potent, and he's going to scale probably a little bit better than Aurelia in the late game, but if he gets far ahead early, then it's going to be just out of control.
Absolutely. Every one of these lanes is just trading blow for blow, bashing each other on the head, and as we mentioned, ThinkCard hadn't made the biggest impact, but then he goes right up to the top. Calitrolls clear-cut textbook overextension, and he gets caught out right there. Nearly made it out, but really good credit to LoLPro for realizing where they were able to make plays.
Yeah, Aurelia is usually pretty susceptible to ganks early on, and just because she doesn't really have any innate escapes without a creep wave to jump to, especially when you have such reliable CC and Rise. His gank follow-up is just really potent.
Yeah, they keep trading up here just like it's nobody's business. Flair's actually getting the better right now. Cali in a little bit of trouble. Can he keep this one going? Taking a lot of poke, trying to damage on back. Equilibrium strike going to save his life right there. And meanwhile, the jungler is going to intercept. Bola's going to land on the Think Card, and Porpoise goes all for it. It's a duel at the Dragon Pit, but looks like Jarvan's going to be able to get away. He does have the EQ combo still available, so they don't try to go all for that one. But again, continuous damage traded back and forth this early game.
It seems like Calitrolls looks a little bit uncomfortable on the Aurelia top. I haven't seen him play it that much. Oh, Slushy going up top.
Oh, he does get 6, immediately popping his ghost as well. Into tower range, trade off, 1-2 punch. Flares is going to get away, actually. And it's Calitrolls that takes the most damage from the tower shot. Gank is unsuccessful.
That's not a good sign. Oh, Keep Me Brief taking some punishment down bot, but I mean, that first gank from TF is really important, and we're going to have to see if the first gank from Porpoise Pops is going to do much good, because like I said, those are going to be instrumental in the success of teammates' comp in this game, is having those successful ganks from those players. It's going to force Flares out of lane. Oh,
here we go, the shockwave. He's going to burn his flash immediately. Think's going to secure up that red buff. Then he flag and drags in, picking off the kill. It's Yusui. Really nice combo there, and again, Porpoise Pops just overestimating his own ability. Up in the top lane, Calitrolls is waiting in the wings, and he's going to find Flares, picking him off, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Trading kills back and forth, and no clear lead this game. It's a 400 gold advantage to LoLPro.
But Calitrolls is not out of the woods yet.
He's going to be going down after this. That tower and the Jarvan ult just to secure it up in style. Think Card will answer back, so now it's 3-2 in kills. We don't even have time for a breath.
And both top laners suffering from a little bit of overstaying their welcome in this top lane. I think that Flares, he had the teleport timer on Calitrolls, and he expected him to go back to base after that engagement. So if he had gone back, that was a smart idea to stay and try and push the lane out to stop any potential freeze. But Calitrolls sustained up a little bit with the flash that he had, waited in the bush, and got a nice kill off. And then Calitrolls decided to overstay, and I mean, Think Card was in his jungle, had just killed Porpoise Pops. Those kind of mistakes you can't really afford to make, especially when you've already given up a kill in lane.
Yep, a number of skirmishes already in this early game. Not even 10 minutes in, and there's a total of 5 kills on the map right now. Flare's now trying to chase out Porpoise Deluxe. He finds him, but the Bola, I mean, he can't chase all the way through, but now the focus is going towards this mid lane. Slushy better watch out. The noose is tightening, but he does have friends on the way. Cali and Dodo are in the area. And looks like teams are trying to set up to control this Dragon Pit for the time being, but everybody is making their way down here. Teleports are available, but it doesn't even matter since the top laners are already close to that bot.
Yeah, teammate trying to get some control on vision, but LoLPro is doing really well. You look at the ward coverage that they have on the map on the red side of the jungle, the red side of teammates' jungle. They have an absurd amount of vision, and that's what allowed them to catch Porpoise Pops out and get that red steal. Porpoise Pops has hit level 6. So might be looking for a potential gank here. Slushy's ult is up as well, so we'll have to see where they decide to do those. But right now it's pretty even. It looks like LoLPro has had a little more control over this game. But I mean, if you look at the goal differential, it just doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, it's definitely anyone's game at this point. Still very, very early on, but a lot of individual kills as well as gank attempts from both the junglers, and of course, that mid lane one from Slushy not ending quite successfully, but it's still a very, very tough one to call. Slushy actually trying to go back. Oh, he gets shockwaved on. Yusui's going to go all for him. He has Ignite down. I don't know if Slushy's going to make it out of this one. He just might. With 1 HP, practically, he gets away. And that is luck of the draw.
That's still some impressive play by Yusui, though. Knowing that that ultimate is probably back up from TF, that's really going to stop his momentum. And it opens up a dragon opportunity for them. LoLPro's going to take this one really easily. And that's off the back of some really calculated aggression from Yusui in the mid lane. He's really been showing some impressive moves over the past couple of days. And that's against Slushy, who yesterday was probably one of the best players in all 3 series that we watched.
Yep, absolutely fantastic play there, and good noting the map presence, able to pick up the dragon off the back of that, as you mentioned. So they are firmly in the lead of this game with about 1.5k advantage. Nonetheless, teammates still terrifying as ever. And you see Slushy making it back to lane just right quick. Still has his ultimate up and available if they want to create some plays somewhere.
Teammate is a team that knows how to find favorable fights, especially in the mid game. They are not afraid to pull the trigger on engagements, and they have the tools to do it with Twisted Fate and with Rengar. So they are not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination yet, because just with a couple ultimates from those two players, from the jungler, from the mid laner, they could get back into this game really quickly.
That being said, again, the laning phase continues right now as Cali Trolls and Flares keep on burning each other, but here comes ThinkCard, and he reveals himself really early. Cali's able to back off from that one. Again, the name of the game just seems to be close calls back and forth. This bot lane is looking to double dare each other into another fight, and Yusui making moves over into the jungle while Slushy continues to farm this one up. So a whole lot of action just all over the map in general, but nothing is really coming up for the time being. This laning phase looks like it's going to be drawn out.
And this is the point where Brahm's sort of out of the woods with being able to not be bullied in lane, so he's going to be just fine now. They're actually... Whoa, the ultimate!
Porpoise, he's caught. ThinkCard, he's in his own. You're trapped in here with me. He has to flash away. Double teleported, and they're going to focus on that one. It's not canceled. Porpoise is actually going to play the bait game, and it's Flares going down, but there's a shockwave, and Porpoise falls as well. Yusui is able to mop that kill up. It's a 1-for-1 jungle for top laner.
Such good patience there by Yusui to hold on to that shockwave. He wasn't going to get an optimal shockwave on the two of them. Realized that saving it would probably be the best bet, and he manages to turn that situation, which looked pretty poor after Flair sort of teleported into there and his team had already backed off because of how low ThinkCard was, and he manages to pick up a refreshed blue buff off of that as well. So that's going to be a big victory for him. He's going to be able to continue his bullying in the mid lane. 2 kills now, 20 CS up. It's going pretty well for him.
Dodo's actually caught right now, but he says, okay, bring it right now. The exhaust is coming in on Maple Street, but he's going all for it. Keep the brief. The box is down. Dodo's still tanking. I don't know if they'll be able to win this fight. Wiz Fusion now with the exhaust on him. Maple's going to get hooked in, but there comes TF. Slushy in the picture. They find Keith McBrief. That's a pickup for the mid laner of Team 8.
You always have to keep that in the back of your head as he had to use ult in the past couple minutes, and he hadn't, and he comes out for that fight. If he had gotten a little bit quicker, probably could have picked up 2, but 1 off of that and a turret is going to be really nice. And ThinkCard comes into the side and maybe looking for some turret defense, but to no avail. And well, Calictrolls is being super aggressive under his turret.
Yep. There really is just action every lane of the game, depending on where you look. You can just move right on back. Porpoise trying to defend now against Yusui, but the shockwave's coming in. Yusui's going to go ignite. That's going to be enough to kill him, or is it? He does get a little bit of a heal out there from his W, and can he get away? Yes, he can. That's Porpoise Pops with a fantastic way to stay alive, but Yusui still threatening.
Yusui, that's heartbreaking. 2 times in a row they've gotten away, and that time he used Flash and Ignite for it. Porpoise held on to his summoner. Whoa! Flair's in trouble.
Flares and Cali, again, they continue to bash each other. Cali, can he get the combo? I don't know. He does manage to pick it off. Flares goes down, and that was a very close call for both laners.
Equilibrium strike coming up at the very last second there, not giving Flares enough time to flash out of that one. Fantastic dueling up there, and now Calictrolls, he's got 3 kills. He's well on his way to a Trinity Force. He's close to it, actually. So that could be a big swing in that lane after Flares got that early gank, got that early lead. He was up in CS for almost the whole game. Now he's in trouble.
Yeah, crazy how you consider the start. Calictrolls down an early kill, and that gank really pulled off super effectively. But then here we go again. ThinkCard now. Porpoise, you're going to get trapped in there. He's going to flash it immediately. Dodo says, that's fine. I'll take it. And they do manage to pick off ThinkCard for none, but it was a close call for Porpoise Deluxe.
Definitely, and Shockwave was about 3 seconds from coming up at the end of that fight, so if they had that could have been a completely different story. Yusui, that aggression, that's got to be even more heartbreaking now. Porpoise Pops got away after he used that Flash Shockwave in the mid lane. He could have had that and been able to turn that fight, but Dragon coming up in a minute. Team 8, they've clawed their way back into this one. They were down about 2.5k. Now they've gotten themselves a little bit of a lead, about 700, 600 gold. So they might be the ones who are looking to make a big play around the next Dragon.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm watching yesterday's games in fast forward mode right now. These are going really, really quickly. 15.5 minutes into this game. Dragon prime contestability right now in Team 8, as you mentioned, clawing their way back into this game after a little bit of an early setback. Slushy and Dodo doubling up for that blue buff, and well, there are wards all over the Team 8 jungle for both teams, not so many on the opposite side, but that Dragon is going to look nice and tasty soon.
Both of these AD carries have hit a pretty big spike as well. I think Corki with Trinity Force might be a little bit better for these mid-game team fights than Lucian with his Infinity Edge, but it's really close to call, so this next fight could be really explosive. We have the Rengar ultimate up, we have the Destiny up for Twisted Fate. So I'm.
Here we
Oh,
go.
here's the hook.
Dodo's going to get caught. You almost wonder if he had to get that intentionally, and now Porpoise coming in with the stealth. Flayed away, but they find Keith McBrief anyway with the Ebola. Oh my goodness, it's going to get secured up thanks to Dodo and Slushy, and they pick off the support player from LoLPro. Prime time for Dragon, and they make a move, 4 members right on over to it.
That looked like a little bit of an overextension, but it was well calculated by teammate. All they were looking for was one pickoff. All they were looking for was to push him off, give them an opportunity to take this dragon. Calitrolls actually ran down from base to get it. It looks like Flares will be able to trade this top lane turret, so not too much loss, just really giving up a kill. But that's some really solid play by teammate there. And Porpoise Box, like I said, both these junglers, not afraid to pull the trigger, not afraid to initiate fights.
Yep, both teams seem to have a very distinctive strength this game. Teammate definitely those masters of team fighting and putting on 5-man pressure wherever they choose to be, but at the same time, LoLPro is really able to create openings anywhere they want as that 1 HP turret finally falls down.
Yeah, we saw yesterday, LoLPro really sort of a scrappy team. They had a lot of they had that early game fight yesterday where they got 3 kills and traded 2 back at level 1, and they're really good at finding crazy openings in places where you wouldn't necessarily find openings. Yesterday, they traded a Baron for like 2 inhibs and then maneuvered around the map so that they could end the game. It was just crazy stuff for them. Very scrappy, and like you said, teammate, great at initiating good fights for themselves. They're great at finding opportunities to initiate a great team fight to pick up objectives. So 2 different styles, and you could see it sort of in action in this game, sort of on a smaller scale, but really both teams playing pretty well. We're in 1,000 gold still.
As crazy as it has been, yeah, that lead is very, very slight right now. 1 dragon apiece to each of these teams. It's only 18.5 minutes in now, and we will have to see where the teams go from here. They almost decide to go back to lane for just a moment. Maple Street kind of hanging out down that bot by himself. But dangerous for the AD carry from Team 8, but he's under no pressure just yet.
Yeah, he's a little bit lost right now. He wants to be able to get some CS, but the lane is pushing not in his favor. He doesn't have the enemy turret to be able to fall back on to clear out some of that CS, and Wish Fusion sort of is in the same position. Both AD carriers trying to get as much farm as they can, but again, these ultimates are up for the mid laner and jungler of Team 8, so we're going to see where they're going to decide to focus that energy next.
Yep. They're pinging around towards the Baron pit right now, but a little bit early to be going for that particular buff, especially with so many members of LoLPro in the area right now. Sweepers coming out left and right, but they're not finding everything that they're looking for. Vision Game has still been pretty focused in and around both sides of the river. Now they're pinging out for Calitrolls, making moves up to the top, but Dodo's going to run right into Flares right now. This could be the 2v1, although the remaining members are coming fast. There's no tower here. Flares running directly at Cali and Dodo. It's 3 members, Keith McBrief, and here comes Flares. This is going to be a 3v2. It can only end one of 2 ways, but here comes Porpoise Pops, and he says, nope, I'm out. That's going to be the 3v2 so far. Thinkard actually able to get away, or is he? Calitrolls flashing forward, and here comes Slushy with the ultimate destiny coming in. Calitrolls might just get away from this one. This fight is going haywire. Finally, he gets out the Zhonya's Hourglass, but Slushy's still in trouble, and he's going to go down. Flares finally falling after him. Porpoise Pops rethinks his earlier decision, coming right back in. Wiz Fusion now. How did he even get there? Calitrolls flashing forward. Porpoise. Wiz flashing over the wall. What is even going on right now, Azumo? Wiz Fusion getting away.
Wow, a crazy escape there by Wiz Fusion, but that was basically a 5v4 fight for LoLPro. They had the numbers advantage, but they didn't get the team fight advantage. Wiz Fusion is running for his life. Maple Street manages to get a whole lot of free farm, plus a turret down the bottom lane. That's a big win for teammate, and you really gotta commend Slushy there. As soon as he TP'd into that fight, he got hooked, but he managed to lock in the right cards every time, keep calm under pressure, and really lock down priority targets for Porpoise Pops and Calitrolls to be able to clean up. So again, a really scrappy fight. It looked bad for teammate at the beginning, but they managed to pull it out.
Yeah, and meanwhile, bot lane just got a whole new meaning with Maple Street really able to clean up quite a lot of that and get himself a little bit of an edge, as you mentioned. A really, really crazy fight that lasted far longer than it looked like it was going to. 4,000 gold, or rather 3,500 gold now in the lead Team 8 find themselves. Dragon's going to be up in another minute and a half, and they are starting to take control of this game. Calitrolls finding flares out here. There's a level advantage, but Yusui's coming on up, and now Calitrolls has to run as fast as he possibly can. Blade Surge onto a minion, trying to pull out the brush. Jukes, can he do it? Doesn't look like it, but maybe the Blade Surge again. He's still getting away, and Aurelia continues to kite, but the Shockwave's going to come in. Dodo's there, a little bit too late to the party as Think Card comes in for any mop-up that might be needed.
Yeah, just a great reaction there by Yusui to head up to the top lane as soon as he saw Calitrolls try and go aggressive. I mean, Calitrolls, you're thinking in his head, oh, here's a rise here. I have a red buff. I'm really far ahead. Whoa, Think Card.
Dodo. Okay. Actually, Keith McBrief, he's going to catch Maple Street. There's a little bit of trouble. That was a weird animation. Maple getting the heel bait off. Keith is actually incredibly low, and here comes the culling. Wiz Fusion taking it all to the face, and Dodo right in the middle of LoLPro. Here they go. They managed to take down Maple Street. That's Think Card getting the credit for that one. Porpoise Pops coming in on Flares. Slushy's there. Can they double team? No, they can't. Flares lives. It's a double kill going over to Yusui, and that is a 1-for-3 in favor of LoLPro, and they're right back in this game.
And that was all on the back of the kill on the Calitrolls in the top lane. They find themselves a 4v5 fight again, but this time they managed to clean it up pretty well. And that was a really risky initiation there by Think Card, going in so deep onto Dodo, only to support in a Braum who's pretty tanky, hard to take down, but they managed to do it. And then, of course, Keith McBrief yesterday, he had some crazy hooks. And following that up today with some really great ones as well. Catches Maple Street on and basically pushes him out of the fight before he can do much of anything.
Yeah, really, really advantageous numbers right there, and it resulted in, well, what you saw. But all these fights have been incredibly haphazard from both teams. It's all about finding those jungle skirmishes with a slight numbers advantage, and they've been able to do it now. Team 8 looking to try and make some moves onto this Dragon, but they are running a little bit scared right now, and LoLPro finding themselves some confidence in this one. Dragon's going to get reset, and Maple will try to clear the wards out as they continue to try and kite away Slushy, throwing some wild cards out there right now. But LoLPro is unperturbed. They continue to move on in and dodge out all the skill shots they possibly can. There's a Colin coming out of Maple right now, trying to force them off once and for all. Here comes Porpoise. Are they willing to take this 5v5? I don't know. Porpoise is on the wrong side of his team now, and he's being chased away. Bola's going to land, but so is the Dissonance, and the hook is not going to connect. Keith McBrief will have to wait just a little bit, and this is going to be the everlasting Dragon Dance. Can they pull it off? Dodo going to get hooked in right there, rather flayed in, but they don't have anything else left in the tank for the time being. Keith McBrief face tanking a little bit more damage. Flares now making moves onto this one. Porpoise trying to find an angle he can come in, but they're separated here now. Teammate in a little bit of trouble. The hook is going to fly wide to the right. They try to go in. Think Card's going to catch two. Here comes Calitrolls. It's Think Card. He doesn't go down just yet. Shockwave still landing. Maple Street in the back trying to cause havoc. Flares is trouble. He's down. That's going to be Slushy getting the kill. Keith is going down. The team fight is going in favor of Team 8. They are just finding the little angles that they can, and they get a complete wipe for none. Dragon be damned, they're gonna go all the way for towers if this keeps up.
5-for-0 ace for Team 8, and that's what I was talking about. They always know how to find the good fights, and LoLPro just chased a little bit too hard on that one. That was a scary moment. They thought they'd push Porpoise Pops out far enough for them to be able to initiate another fight 5v4, but just a great job of staying grouped up by Team 8, waiting for the right moment to reinitiate that fight. And of course, Porpoise Pop's getting on the back line with that Rengar. He's 6-3-4 now. He is pretty massive, and this is going to blow the game wide open for Team 8. They take Dragon, they take another turret, 5 kills for 0. Just like that, it went from a 1k gold lead to a 7k gold lead, and now LoLPro is definitely on the ropes with this one. They have to rethink how they're going to approach these fight initiations.
Talk about taking the angle they wanted. Team 8, when it looked like they were too scared to fight, they say bring it on, and they just barely managed to eke out a full wipe. I mean, everyone was blinking health bars there. That was incredible, Azumo.
And this is what I was talking about in Champion Select with those Orianna ultimates. A Shockwave can make or break a team fight, and that he only hit one member. Oh, Slushy is.
Oh, no. Speaking of Shockwaves,
wow.
That's a shutdown going in on there. Just a little bit of mispositioning. Keith McBrief with the hooks, able to make some plays. Now Dodo's going to get caught in as well. That is 2 more catches. Meanwhile, up and over by the Baron pit, Think Card is being bullied out by Calitrolls. He actually flashes out of his own ultimate and just waits for Flares to come to his rescue. That's a 2v1 advantage right there. They might just turn straight for Baron, but they have to be careful. Porpoise can steal those quite easily. Maple now trying to get in on the action as well, but they're going to be able to find him. Half of his health bar is gone in one distance. Here comes Wiz Fusion. A big one's going to connect. Just barely flashing forward. It's Maple down, and now it is going to be LoLPro finding the advantage. There are some serious death timers ticking away here, and they should be able to find this turret if they want it. Trying to zone Porpoise and Cali Trolls away. It looks like this 4 members might be able to make this one happen. Make that 5. ThinkCard cancels his back, and they're running a little bit scared despite the fact that they just took 3 catches in a row.
Yikes.
Here
we go. Here comes the
Porpoise.
fight.
Oh no, flares. He's completely okay.
Yeah. I think he was expecting the Destiny for Slushie to come out, but they realized that that probably wasn't going to be the best fight for them. But that was just positioning mistake after positioning mistake after positioning mistake from teammate there. Slushie, Dodo, and Maple Street all getting caught out of position. Uh-oh, here comes a fight.
Slushie, Flares is in trouble, but then again, ThinkCard coming in to make some action happen. It ends up being Flares going down, and they're trying to make something of this nonetheless. Slushie, he's low, gets the Zanyas off. They don't quite combo in time. They still take him down. That's going to be Wiz Fusion getting the kill credit. Meanwhile, Porpoise coming around the side. Keith and Wiz better be in trouble right here. Cali Trolls trying to make a little bit more happen. That's going to be one more pickup. It's ThinkCard getting the credit. Shockwave going to connect. Maple Street's low. They've already taken out Dodo, and they pick him off as well. It is a 1-for-4 this time in favor of LoLPro, and again the game keeps turning on its head. Azumo, I don't even know what's going on, but Team 8 flashes of brilliance and flashes of just completely missed opportunities, and now it's LoLPro turning for Baron.
Yeah, Team 8 is just handing LoLPro this game on a silver platter right now. There was no reason for them to initiate a fight like that. This is still a relatively... Oh, Keith McBrief!
Porpoise might be caught. He flashes in, gets himself 1 pickup, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Keith McBrief is going down, but they traded for the jungler, and that is Baron secured. ThinkCard going to get the smite off at the last second. Wiz Fusion and Yusui there to help him out, and of course, Flares does get that buff as well. Talk about the vision, though. The warding has been all over this jungle, but still, teammates finding themselves picked off a couple of times, and their gold lead has been whittled down to 1,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were thinking going for that fight there. They only had 2 members. The only person who was even anywhere near to be able to join in on that fight was Dodo. Maybe they were thinking more members of LoLPro backed than actually did, but that's just a lot of mistakes in a row for Team 8, and that's pretty uncharacteristic of them picking fights that they don't know for sure that they're going to be able to win. And like you said, this game, within 1.5k gold at 28 minutes, that's just a really close game. And on top of that, LoLPro now has the Baron buff and the confidence and momentum to start pushing this. And I said, I think that they got the better late game. That Ryze and Orianna combo is really tough to deal with, especially if Yusui is going to manage to get off some good shockwaves. So
yep, they're going to let ThinkCard go ahead and face tank this one up. That tower's not going to last much longer. It does go down, and as you said, LoLPro with the confidence to start pushing forward a little bit, and you see Team 8 backing off. It's not just the Baron buff. At this point, they've definitely enabled this LoLPro team to get back into this game. Everything they've done has been either completely brilliant or a colossal mistake.
Yeah, Cali Troll is going to try and do what he can to make up this for what they just lost. He takes a second tier turret up in the top lane. And Team 8, they're grouping S5, getting this vision in the enemy jungle, and this is what they need to do. They're not losing their heads in this game right now. They're still trying to make moves. They still realize that they're not too far behind in this game right now that LoLPro has that Baron buff. So at least not playing on their heels.
Yep, and they are doing their best to draw LoLPro away as far as they can. You see the teleport now coming out from Cali Trolls to defend that second tier bot side turret. So they do end up trading turrets, but it was actually Team 8 that got the better of that one with the outer turn advantage. So still 5-4 right now, but 4 members of LoLPro Baroned up, pushing on this mid lane, and they're making moves into the jungle of Team 8.
Yeah, that ward's going to spot him out. Cali Trolls is going to be able to get out of there, but they're basically, like you said, they're trying to draw them away from important parts of the map, trying to do damage control for this Baron buff, not let LoLPro get any more than they need to from that Baron buff. And they might be able to get this second tier turret. I'm not sure if Team 8 wants to initiate a fight. Porpoise Pops is in a very heavy flank position here, so you're right, but this pink ward coverage could be the death of him.
Yeah, I think they're just going to give this one up. It does go down now, and Porpoise thinks a little bit twice about this, but Flair certainly does it. Dodo's going to get caught on a line right now, and the Braum ulti comes out, but his health bar is melting. What are you talking about? He's not a tank. Maple Street now. He's going to get caught in. That is another perfect one for Keith McBrief, and they take themselves down 2-4-0. And it looks like LoLPro leading the charge here. Porpoise hesitating, not able to get in there. Can he pick up a kill? Maybe gets a ward down, revealing himself. There's still a wave pushing. Flair's gonna flash in. Slushy, oh my goodness, he gets the Zhonya's up, but Callie's not so lucky. That's gonna be another pickup for Wiz Fusion. Slushy getting chased all the way in, and they're inside the base of Team 8 right now. It's only Porpoise Pop standing, and they're gonna take inhibitor number 1. Can they push it in for the win, Azumo?
LoLPro is on fire right now. Flares and Keith McBrief are landing snare after hook, catching out every single member of Team 8 at this point. And these death timers are too long. They're just going to be able to end this game. What a performance by LoLPro in Game 1. Going to take the first game in this series off of Team 8, who oh man, they are looking to dethrone the two-time Black Monster Cup champions in their one game